housed at the World Bank, the Secretariat that is supported by the World Bank. They have a major mobile banking program because they think that mobiles can really give access to finance to the poorest people of the world. And so it's very successful, I think, program, and they focus on knowledge sharing, and I think they're making a big difference there. We have started to pilot projects in the area of mobile for better governance. For example, in Africa, there's a pilot to allow citizens to complain on the mobile phones about the corruption cases. So there's an interesting pilot going on. There are a lot of pilots ongoing in the agricultural field. World Bank is supporting some rural development projects which support farmers to get information on mobiles, fishermen, etc. So this rural space, I think, is becoming more excited about this potential. The health, I think, community is waking up finally. At the private sector arm of the World Bank, called International Finance Corporation, IFC, is experimenting also with mobile services, and they have invested. It's actually my department. It's a joint World Bank IFC department. We have invested in several such projects jointly with Voxiva, which is a mobile health. I mean, they work in different sectors, but I think health is their current priority. Mobile health in Africa and Latin America. Mobile banking, as I mentioned, apart from CGAP, we have also some investments in the mobile banking space. Visit in South Africa is a IFC-supported initiative. So the World Bank is joining the bandwagon of this agenda, this excitement, and I think we should be partnering on this, and we should be sharing knowledge as we learn it, because I think right now there's no such a mechanism to learn what is going on. And so I'm glad that we're gathering to learn from each other, but I don't think it's sufficient. So we need some online platform, we need some knowledge base, we need to have a community of practice, a network, as we discussed yesterday, to really make the most of this brand new channel to make a huge development in the world. But we cannot also ignore it or take it for granted. As yesterday we were discussing, you can say that it's hype, and so let's just forget about channels. Let's focus on the subs. I agree. We should be focused on development, and that's why the very term ICT for development is, I think, is a misnomer. It's not a good term because it puts focus on ICT, which actually immediately turns off a lot of people in the development mainstream agenda. So we need to find a better term, like smart development or effective development or enabled development, but whatever. But for now, we have all been using this term ICT for development for lack of anything else. In the bank, we've been also using e-development, which you can also have enabled or effective development, right? So, so given that we all understand that we should focus on development and not on the ICT side, still, without a focused approach to make the most use and the best use of every channel, especially mobile, because of this huge potential to reach the poorest of the poor, which other ICT may not have at present, I think we cannot afford not to focus on it in one way or the other. And I think knowledge sharing is a very important area of focus where we can learn from the early implementers and ensure we don't reinvent the wheel. And I think this awareness raising, which Stefan was making the point, is part of this additional things we have to do, which is called change management, which includes capacity building, which includes leadership, which includes building support incentives for within the agencies to make this happen. But there's also another aspect of this transformation process, is the process reform, which we also cannot take for granted, that we need to work with the vendors, operators, with the governments to change the way they do their business to enable mobile delivery, because without that it's not going to happen. Technology itself will not help. So I would just again add that this is the most powerful tool we have. Let's not oversell it, but let's still focus on it. Let's partner. Let's have a partnership for mobile and development. We have started this agenda by organizing all kinds of events, and I think we should move to the next level. And I'm glad that we've been discussing in parallel to this sessions, various ideas, and I hope we'll actually create something concrete. And Stefan and I were already discussing some kind of online community and some toolkit, and I hope we'll move forward in that direction. So that's my opening remarks.
Okay, thank you very much, Oleg. It's your turn. Jan, please. Oh, he already presented, so
one slide here, so I'm just gonna make this visible first. Can you actually, it should be projected onto the screen. Okay, so it's there. Right, so just as a kind of, to begin the 5 minutes, so I would like to sort of tell you a short anecdote. So I was actually, a couple of months ago, I think it may have in fact been half a year ago exactly, in fact, so I was driving in Bangalore, and my driver was basically, he sort of like all of a sudden said that, you are bringing out maps. So he had actually seen an advertisement on the streets of Bangalore about our maps service, and to me the whole, and he seemed to be really excited, and he has a mobile phone. He doesn't. He's never used a PC before, and I asked him if he knew what email is, and he doesn't know what the concept of email, for instance. And I doubt that he would even send text messages with his phone. But nevertheless, he has a mobile phone, and he realized the potential of maps and internet-based content on a mobile phone, and that somehow to me seemed quite a powerful realization of the power of the internet. So I guess I could actually talk about, I think Nokia is contributing to development over, I guess there's a lot of initiatives within Nokia. So just to mention a few, so that we have a very active corporate social responsibility wing, and particularly community involvement team, and they have actually recently launched a product which we call Nokia data gathering tool. So it actually works on a kind of a E71 phone, and it's a mobile application that allows health-related NGOs to collect data on the field and then upload this information via SMS or GPRS. And the coordinates are actually also, GPS coordinates are also recorded in that message. That's a wonderful tool that we are hoping to launch globally, actually. Another example is actually, some of you may have heard of Life Tools service, which is actually a kind of a recently established business unit, which is actually producing services that are meant for, in the first phases, for the agricultural sector in developing regions. It's about a mobile client that is easy to use and quite graphic, and it allows you to get recent up-to-date market rates concerning your location. And it's very easy to use, doesn't require connectivity settings, so it uses SMS as the backbone. Very kind of a simple solution, and we are going to launch it in India quite soon. And then there will be a global, couple of areas will follow after that, and we hope to see a kind of a global uptake of that service in this year, actually. But in the interest of time, I would actually like to focus just on what my group is doing. So I'm actually coming from the research side of the cooperation, and much like Kentauro's group. So well, first of all, what we have in common is that we are both based in Bangalore, actually, and we have multidisciplinary teams. So there's a couple of designers, there's a social scientist, and a couple of technologists working in the team. And our mission is actually to look at the role of technology in terms of empowering local individuals and communities. And very much it's a kind of a focus on development and what can we use, what can we do in the field of mobile. And I think Kentaro actually made a good point. I mean, it doesn't always have to be a solution that's running on a mobile phone.